Startup always starts with a vague idea. किसी को पता नहीं होता है कि whether the business will work or not, कौन सा direction में business जाएगा, you cannot really predict in the beginning. Hence, जो सबसे important चीज़ जो होती है जब आप startup में काम करते हो is ability to deal with uncertainty. It's a very very unstructured environment. Everyone does everything. There is no one to tell you what are you supposed to kind of do. Generally, startups are crunched with financial resources, and hence everyone has to give 150%. They would not have the ability to hire lots of resources. Hence, there is no concept of work-life balance. Generally, the job security in a startup is less than the job security in a larger platform, and that is because of the vagueness that they carry, and because no one really knows whether the business is going to work or not. But the good news is that if you have worked in a startup, and if you are kind of laid off, but if you have done very good work in a startup, there will be multiple startups and larger platforms which will be wanting to absorb you. स्टार्टअप्स इतने वेग होते हैं कि अप टिल अ सर्टेन स्टेज वो हमेशा ही चेंज होते रहते हैं. एंड इफ़ यू आर नॉट समवन जिसको चेंज पसंद है ऑन अ डे टू डे बेसिस, देन स्टार्टअप में नॉट बी अ प्लेस फॉर यू. एक अर्ली स्टेज स्टार्टअप के पास उतना पैसा नहीं होता है कि वो एक लार्ज प्लेटफॉर्म या एमएनसी की कॉम्पनसेशन मैच करे, एंड हेंस कैश कंपोनेंट हमेशा एक अर्ली स्टेज स्टार्टअप में लिमिटेड होगा. What do they typically do is that they divide the compensation between cash and ESOP. If the startup eventually does well, ESOP can help you create lots and lots of wealth for yourself. The most important thing to keep in mind is कि स्टार्टअप में अगर आप अर्ली स्टेज स्टार्टअप में काम कर रहे हैं तो काफ़ी डिस्प्रपोर्शनेटली आप अपने करियर में ग्रो कर सकते हैं. विद इन 3-4 years your compensation can grow by 100-150%. If you stick around in a startup for a longer time, and if the startup actually does well, you can really make a lot of money for yourself. You can make generational wealth for yourself and your family. They may or may not even have fancy offices, and they may not be able to give you fancy joining kit. There is a lot of freedom which is given in a startup, and hence that also means that no one will keep giving you instructions day in and day out, and hence that also means that you are supposed to be self-motivated. Startups generally have a lot of flexibility. They would not typically work in a traditional manner, which is a 9 to 5. They are more output oriented than input oriented.